Most restaurants and lounges are losing sales because they're not tracking their inventory properly, or they're not even taking inventory at all. If you're using SambaPOS 4 in your restaurant or your lounge, this is going to be a quick tutorial on how to track your inventory using SambaPOS 4. So let's get straight into it. So on this screen, I'm going to log into my system. Now on the point of sale system, on the warehouse is where all your inventory is supposed to be sitting. It's called local warehouse. This name can be changed, it can be customized. This is where the local warehouse. So you're supposed to have the name of the items you're tracking, the units, what is in stock, what you purchased, and whatnot. This will be explained later. How do I put quantities into this place so that I can come to my point of sale and see the inventories I have in stock? Now, this is the first thing to do. You click on Manage, then you click on Inventory. So click on Inventory Item. So now, when doing your inventory, we have what we call one-to-one inventory and one-to-many inventory. One-to-one inventory is when you're tracking one item, meaning things like drinks, you just come in, you put them in the system and they sell out once. But one-to-many is when you're creating a lot of items for one product. It could be a shawarma, for example. Inside the shawarma, you need your shawarma bread, your protein, your everything you need in the shawarma bread is what you use in creating that shawarma. So for every time one shawarma leaves your establishment, multiple items as well leaves those establishments. And that is what we call one-to-many inventory. But in this tutorial, it's just going to be a one-to-one inventory. So when creating your one-to-one inventory, you click on the inventory item, add inventory. Now, what is the name of the product you want to create? In this case, I'm going to create Coke. Now, the group code, because I have not created any inventory item here, I'll call my group code as drink. So the moment you put a group code, it automatically saves on the inventory. Then warehouse, I'm going to use local warehouse. You can have more than one warehouses. You can have a kitchen warehouse, you can have a bar warehouse, you can have a store warehouse where you can move from the kitchen to the bar to the... So whichever warehouse you're using, if yours has multiple warehouses, you just indicate where this particular product should be under the warehouse. Then base unit. Base unit is what's the units you're using in selling. You can buy Coke in packs and sell in pieces or sell in bottles. So for the purpose of this training, I'm going to use to sell in bottles. Then the transaction unit, how am I buying them? So people buy in packs and people buy in bottles. So now if your establishment is fond of buying in packs, you can put packs. But if people buy packs and bottles, to be on the safer side, you can use bottles and bottles so as not to confuse the person that's going to be putting in the inventory item. So I'm still going to use bottles. Now note, if you're using the same name as the base unit and transaction unit, Samba is case sensitive. If I should use the same way I spell these bottles in my transaction unit, it's going to eliminate the one of them. So to be on the safer side, I'm going to use the other one as in smaller letters, I mean. So I'm going to use bottle. Yeah, I think I just do bottle. So multiplier. Now multiplier basically means the multiples of the products. For example, if I'm buying my drinks in a big jar and I sell as I put into the glass cup or whatever I'm using to serve to my customers, if let's say the jar can give me 10 bottles of Coke, I can now put multiplier as 10. So till when 10 finishes, it means one jar of Coke has finished. You could also use it for food trays. For every food tray I bring out to sell in my restaurant, a food tray costs 8 portions. So I could say the transaction unit of this tray is 8. So when I sell out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, it equates to 1 tray. So in this case, I'm buying in bottles and I'm selling in bottles, I will not be using a multiplier. Then we have the default cost for the base unit and the default cost for the transaction unit. Now, for the base unit, if you have a cost price, you can put it there. Transaction unit, if you have a cost price, that's how much you actually bought the product. But in my case, I want to leave it empty because my cost price fluctuates a whole lot. So I don't see the need putting it there. because you're still going to put it when bringing in the product from wherever you're buying from. So even if you leave here empty, it will still reflect at the other side when you're putting in the product. So because my cost price is never fixed, I'm going to leave it empty. Then we have additional units here. Now, this additional units, I tell a lot of people to ignore it. It's very helpful, but if it's going to confuse you, leave it. Now, what this additional unit does is a multiplier. Now, this Coke comes, I could tell Samba that this Coke comes in packs. And in this pack, I have 12. And if I want, I can still leave my costing. I don't want to put the costing. Now, what it's telling the system is, for every time I buy a pack, if I should put 2 packs when I'm bringing in a product, times it by 12. When I'm bringing in 3 packs, times it by 12. So this multiplier can be used as packs. So now, why sometimes I tell clients not to use this is because some people buy packs and pieces. And the person putting it may not necessarily check. There could be a lot of human errors. So I prefer you just leave it empty and put in the quantities. But if you have a very structured organization, you could leave this pack here and it will go smoothly. So I'm just going to use this pack here. You can either use it or ignore it. So I'm going to leave this as this, my cost price, nothing, and I save. Now with this, I have created an inventory item. What happens is that it's going to appear on my warehouse as Coke. But when you create an inventory item and you don't create a recipe, that product will not deduct when you sell. When you create an inventory item without creating a recipe, that product will not deduct when you sell. So this is a video on how to create your inventory item in SambaPOS 4. So the next video is going to be talking about how to create your recipe. In as much as you've created the inventory in SambaPOS 4, if you look at the screen, you're going to see that the product is just all dashes, which is not supposed to be. SambaPOS sees inventory as just a raw material. It's not tied to a product yet, so it's not going to automatically deduct at the point of sales. So the next video is going to be talking about the recipe, how you can now tie this product you've created as an inventory item to the product you have actually created as a product, so that we can tie the product to the recipe for it to be able to deduct at the point of sales. If you have any question, please let me know. Apart from that, see you soon.